The creek had never frightened Cole Mercer before, not even on nights when the water ran high and black. But that morning it carried a sound that froze him in the saddle, a thin, broken cry that slipped through the rush of water and the hiss of rain like a blade finding flesh. Cole had been riding since before dawn, coat soaked, bones aching, his horse tired beneath him, not chasing anything, not fleeing anything specific either, just moving because standing still gave memories too much room to breathe. The storm the night before had swollen the creek beyond its banks, turning it into a brown, violent thing clawing at roots and stone, and when the sound came again, small, desperate, unmistakably human, Cole felt his chest tighten in a way the cold could not explain. He pulled hard on the reins and slid from the saddle, boots sinking into mud that grabbed at him like it wanted payment, and stepped into the freezing water. Each step dragged something up from his past, because some men don't fear water, they fear what they once left inside it. Lightning split the sky, and in that white flash he saw it, a burlap sack tangled against the roots of a cottonwood, half submerged, shuddering weakly as the current tried to pull it under. For a moment Cole stood still, breath locked in his throat, because he had seen a sack like that before years ago, on a night he had never forgiven himself for surviving. The sack moved again. Whatever memory tried to claim him lost its grip. Cole lunged forward, water slamming into his thighs, fingers numb as he tore at the rope, ripping the sack open with a sound that felt like something tearing loose inside his chest. Inside was a baby. She was soaked through, skin pale and trembling, lips blue, fists clenched like she had been fighting the world itself, and the sight hit Cole harder than any bullet ever had. Someone had wrapped this child in rough cloth and thrown her into the creek to die alone in the dark, and a wave of fury rose in him so sudden it made him dizzy. He tore open his coat and pressed her against his chest, whispering broken words, prayers he didn't believe in anymore but needed to say anyway, and staggered back to the bank. He built a fire with shaking hands, rubbing warmth into her tiny limbs, breathing heat into her, begging her not to leave, because he had buried too many people already and could not bear one more. For long moments there was nothing but rain and fire and his own ragged breathing. And then she coughed, once, weak but real, and then she cried, loud and furious and alive. Cole dropped to his knees and wept openly, rain and tears mixing on his face, because something meant to die had chosen to live, and something he thought was buried had risen with her. He rode into town through the storm with the baby hidden beneath his coat, answering the sheriff's questions with half-truths, because some truths burned too hot to touch. No one claimed the child. No mother came forward. Whispers spread, and when the sheriff said she'd be sent east on an orphan train, Cole heard his own voice speak before his mind caught up, rough and final, saying she wasn't going anywhere. That night, alone in his cabin as thunder rolled overhead, the baby stirred in his arms, eyes fluttering open, and as Cole leaned close, whispering that she was safe now, her mouth shaped a sound so soft it barely existed, a single word that hollowed him out and filled him all at once. Mama. Cole froze, heart hammering, because babies didn't know words yet, but somehow instinct had chosen him, and he knew then his life had turned onto a road he could never leave. Raising the child did not heal. Cole Mercer, the way people like to believe love could. It tore him open slowly, night after night, because every time the baby slept against his chest, warm and trusting, he remembered another night long ago, another sack, another creek, and a choice that had cost an innocent life. He named the baby Hope because it hurt to say it, because hope was the one thing he had destroyed before, and the one thing he feared losing again. The town watched him change, saw the way his hands softened, the way his eyes stayed sharp, the way he flinched when strangers lingered too long near his door, and whispers followed him like shadows. Trouble came riding in with a friendly smile, a man asking questions about a missing woman, a man whose gaze lingered too long on Hope's face, recognizing something he shouldn't. Cole knew instantly the past had found him, that the creek had given back what it was never meant to keep. The truth unraveled in pieces. Hope's mother had tried to expose a powerful man, had tried to run, and when she vanished, someone decided her baby had to vanish too. When armed men came for the child, Cole hid Hope beneath the floorboards, whispered promises he intended to keep, and stepped outside knowing this was the debt finally coming due. The gunfight was fast and merciless, dust and blood staining the land, and when it was over, Cole lay wounded beneath a burning sky, wondering if redemption was something a man earned or something he only borrowed for a moment. He survived long enough to see the truth exposed, long enough to hold hope again, her heartbeat steady, her small hand gripping his finger like an anchor. Years passed. The baby in the sack became a girl who laughed without fear, who ran through tall grass, who called the scarred Cowboy Mama because that was the word that meant safety to her. When she was old enough, Cole told her everything. Not to be forgiven, but to be honest. And when she asked why he saved her, his voice broke as he answered with the truth. Because the first time, he hadn't. And in that terrible honesty, something like grace settled over them both. Not clean or simple, but real. Because sometimes the deepest love is born from the darkest regret, and sometimes one saved life is enough to change the ending of a man who once believed he didn't deserve one.